climbing all the steps, and then there's a hatch. You think, well, this must be the top.
These patients are whisked away as soon as they're rescued.
Well, you print the big Super Bowl logo in the middle and wait for the playoffs to end.
Here it is, a very new product revolutionizing the way fires are fought.
Busy road, lots of cars and trucks, so much so that a few years ago they widened it out toward the tree.
It's 12 o'clock. Do you know where we are? Up the stairs, around the corner, and there's something under that sheet. It looks like a little keyboard for an organ, but it's really how you record music for the chimes. A tape plays it back every day at 12 o'clock. So, do you know where this is? 80 years ago, used to be they let the public come up here, but not anymore. It's a strange thing seeing such a well-known San Diego place from inside like this, climbing all the steps, and then there's a hatch. You think, well, this must be the top. But no, our noontime climb just gets more interesting from here. When it was built in 1915, I don't know if they imagined it would still be standing into the next century like this, but it's been through howling windstorms, lightning, earthquakes, and occasionally, very occasionally, somebody will venture up here to keep the birds company. By the way, the public may own this place, but crows and owls call it home, serenaded every noontime with a 15-minute concert of works by the musical masters. Speakers send the sound of it to the four winds, and the view from the top is one of the finest in our city. You probably guessed, it's the tower above the Museum of Man in Balboa Park. 12 o'clock or any time, its sight and sound is one of the most memorable things about San Diego. Ken Kramer, NBC 739.
Pull. A tug of war with gravity.
Okay, here we go.
Tension builds. As firefighters pull 3 victims to safety. The 3 men, 3 of 5, to survive a deep plunge into the canyon. The sports car they were in, now a mangled pile of black metal.
The car is about 325 feet over the side. It's very steep here. It's extremely difficult.
A difficult rescue, not just for the rescue crew. See the one man not in uniform climbing through the thick brush?
Whoa.
He watched the black sports car weave past him at high speeds just before the accident happened.
Coming around the corner, we saw a cloud of dust. I did, and a bunch of other people saw a cloud of dust, pulled over, immediately knew what it was.
He climbed down the side of the canyon to help.
Took their pulse, knew that they were gone, gave one of them who was still semi-breathing, gave him CPR. And hoping somebody else would have done the same thing if it would have been me or anybody else.
It was extremely helpful.
Helpful because firefighters could use as much manpower as possible. In a situation like this, anyone who makes it is treated as a trauma victim. These patients are whisked away as soon as they're rescued, leaving firefighters with a grim task, bringing up the deceased. Danielle McDavitt, NBC 739.
With every stamp of ink and every burst of air, the Super Bowl is that much closer.
The crew that you see standing behind me are here during the final quarter of all the games.
Games that make the difference between obscurity and a collectible frenzy.
Within 15 minutes, we will have our machines running, printing the winner of that game on the ball.
This is the playing field for Photoball, a San Diego sports collectible manufacturer with its eye on the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
There is a very small window of opportunity. The window stays open for a while, it narrows, and then it closes.
Because Photoball has to work fast, they have designs for any possible outcome leading to the big game. Designs that will end up on footballs and lapel pins.
So how do you prepare for a game that you don't even know who's going to be in it? Well, you print the big Super Bowl logo in the middle and wait for the playoffs to end. When there is a hot market event like this, it's usually down to the 11th hour.
And within 24 hours, Photoball plans to ship collectible balls and pins across the country. In this business, it's not a game of inches, but of dollars and cents. So when the Super Bowl clock ticks down, Photoball will be ready.
And of course, in the fourth quarter, if there's somewhat of a blowout going on, maybe sooner.
The muscle behind every wildfire fight comes from the air. Here at the helicopter base camp near Julian, pilots have been making runs nonstop since Tuesday.
Hundreds over the last few days. Each day we've done over 70 drops consisting of thousands and thousands of gallons of water.
They also have a new weapon they're dipping into, fire jelly. Well, here it is, a very new product revolutionizing the way fires are fought. It's a polymer blend created by mixing a powdery substance with a lot of water. The result, a very thick gel that can be dropped on anything. It's being used on burning brush as an extinguisher, a protective coat on unburned landscape, and it's dropped right onto homes to keep them from catching fire.
It can be used for suppression. It can be used to set up safe zones.
Different than the pink retardant we normally see because it holds a lot more water.
It absorbs 800 to 1,000 times its weight in water.
Other retardants contain harsh chemicals and are slowly being phased out of firefighting. This one is actually good for the environment.
It's not only environmentally friendly, it's actually environmentally enhancing. It will help with revegetation.
A simple gel developed as an absorbent in disposable diapers, accidentally discovered to be the most efficient substance to permanently smother flames. Near Julian, Stephanie Taylor, NBC 739.
This is the story of a tree, big old oak tree, so old it was either here or just sprouting at the time of the Declaration of Independence.
And then there's the road, busy road, lots of cars and trucks, so much so that a few years ago they widened it out toward the tree.
The wider road cut into and covered up about half the roots of the old tree.
And I think that was probably when it began to go downhill.
Now the tree is dying. Maybe after 200 plus years it had just run its life's course, Bob Emery says. But he suspects with all those cars and the wider road, it just can't survive here anymore.
They've held up the branches with cables. They've taken off sick branches that were diseased.
Story is, local people thought so much of this tree along Espola Road that in drought years they'd bring water to it in buckets. It was beautiful back then.
We could see it from where I live over on the side of the hill. You could see it from across the valley.
Now cars race by on the asphalt, most people not even noticing the withered tree off to one side. Such is progress.
The road won. In the long run, the road won.
Within the year, this mostly dead tree will have to be cut down. The very same tree, by the way, that appears on the city symbol of Poway. The Poway oak, it's called. Blame it on progress or just old age. It'll soon be just a memory about San Diego. Ken Kramer, NBC 739.